Hello everybody and welcome to the video for Unit 2, Day 3. And in today's video we are estimating division and we're also going to be doing some long division. Today's video is dedicated to Gilberto in 6A. Hi Gilberto. Let's look at our level 1 example. We're going to be doing 3 levels today. So we're doing 2082 divided by 6. First it's asking us to estimate. So we're dividing by 6. And 6 is already just one number in the ones place. So we're not going to round that. And we're just going to keep that as 6. And the number we're dividing into, let's take a look. So the first number is a 2. We can't divide 6 into 2. So now let's look at the first 2 digits. Is 20. Right, 2 and a 0. And can I divide 6 into 20? I can't, so let's try rounding 20 to a number that we can divide by 6. Well, there's 2 ways you could go. I could go down to 18, right, because 6 times 3 is 18, or I could go up to 24, because 6 times 4 would be 24. So in this case, I'm going to go down to 18, because 20 is a little bit closer to 18 than it is to 24. So let's put 18 here. So this became 18, and then we're going to go 0, 0 for the 82. So we just rounded 2082, rounded down to 1800. And now it's really easy to divide, because 6 can go into 18 how many times? 3 times. We keep these zeros here. 300. So we know our answer is going to be something close to 300. Now let's try using the standard algorithm for long division. So standard algorithm is just, I think you probably learned this in 4th or 5th grade, and this is going to be a quick review of that standard algorithm. So the number we're dividing is 2082. Let's write that over here. 2082. And we're dividing it by 6. So step number 1 in our long division steps is to divide. And so you look at the first set of numbers. Can 6 go into 2? It can't. 2 is too small. So we go out a little bit. Can 6 go into 20? Yes, it can. How many times? Well, we've actually already checked right here, right? It can go in 3 times. And then we're going to do the next step of long division, which is to multiply. So after we divide them, we multiply. 3 times 6 is 18. So we're going to put 18 down here. And then the next step is to subtract. So we're going to subtract our 18 from our 20. And we're going to get 2. 20 minus 18 is 2. And then the next step after this is to regroup. Regroup. Or you can draw an arrow pointing down to bring down the next number. So let's bring down this 8. And I think to myself, oh, and then after you regroup, the next step is to just repeat all of these steps again. So repeat, we go back to step number 1, is to divide. So how many, I divide 28 by 6. How many times can 6 go into 28? Well, 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30, which is too much, so it's going to be at most 4 times. I multiply, that's step number 2. 4 times 6 is 24. Step number 3 is subtract. Then I'm going to subtract these. 28 minus 24 is 4. Step number 4 is regroup, bring the number down. Now I think to myself, how many times can 6 go into 42? Because right now we're repeating, and we go back to dividing. 42 divided by 6 is 7. Okay, next step, multiply. 7 times 6 is 42. Right, then we subtract it. 42 minus 42 is 0. I have 0 remainders left. 347 is my answer. That's pretty close to my estimate, which was 300. Looks like we are good to go. 2 gold stars for us. Now let's look at, we're still on level 1. Now you're going to try on your own. All right, so first you're estimating 8 is what we're dividing by. And then here, 8 can't go into 1, which is the first digit, so you look at this as 15. Can 8 go into 15? It can't, but I want you to first then round 15 to some number that's close to 15 that can be divided by 8, and that's what you're going to round this to. So at this point, you're going to pause it and finish the rest of this problem. Estimate and then use the standard algorithm on your own. Pause and go. Now you're resuming the video. If you got stuck after you try it on your own, or if you finished, now you're checking your answers, we're going to round 15 to 16 because I can divide 16 by 8 evenly. So I have 16 here. I'm rounding 1,512 to 1,600. 8 goes into 16 2 times. I'm going to bring these zeros over. My estimate is 200. Now let's try using the standard algorithm. Let's set up our problem. We are dividing 1,512 by 8. 8 can't go into 1, so I go out one more. Can 8 go into 15? Yes. 8 times 2 is 16, which is too many, so I know there's going to be at most 1 8. Next step, multiply. 1 times 8 is 8. Next step, subtract. 15 minus 8 is 7. Next step, regroup. Bring the number down. How many times can 8 go into 71 now? 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72, so that's too many. It's going to be 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. Next step, subtract. 71 minus 64 is 7. Next step, regroup. Bring down the 2. Next step, repeat. So we divide. How many times can 8 go into 72? Or 72 divided by 8 is 9 times, evenly, because 9 times 8 is 72. That's with 0. No remainders, 189. 189, pretty close to our estimate of 200. If you got that on your own, 2 gold stars, and 1 gold star if you try it on your own, and then checked it. We are now ready to level up to level 2. Let's estimate. We're dividing by 19. 19 we're going to round to the nearest 10. And we're going to round it up because 9 is 5 or greater, so it rounds up to the next 10, which is 20. So I have 20 here. And then I have 7. I can't evenly divide 2 into 7, so let's look at this number, which is 70. I can divide 2 into 70, so let's keep that the same, and then we're just going to round the rest of it. And now that we have zeros, if you remember from yesterday, I can cross out my 0 here, and if I take that 0, I have to take a 0 out there. And then I think to myself, how many times can 2 go into 70? Well, 70 divided by 2 is 35. And then I have these 2 zeros at the end, so I add those in. So my answer is something close to 3,500. Now, to use the standard algorithm, in situations like this, it may be helpful to list out the multiples of 19. You don't have to do this, but sometimes it can be helpful. So 19 times 1 is going to be equal to 19. 19 times 2, you add another 19 to here. And a trick to adding 19 is it's 1 away from 20. So you just add 20 and then subtract 1. So 19 plus 20 is 39. Subtract 1 is 38. So 19 times 2 is 38. 19 times 3, let's add another 20 and then subtract 1. So plus 20 would be 58. Minus 1 is 57. Same thing. Times 4, let's add 20, subtract 1. 57 plus 20 is 77. Minus 1 is 76. Times 5, let's add 20, which is 96. Minus 1, 95. 19 times 6 is, let's add 20, subtract 1. That'd be 115. Minus 1, 114. Times 7. Add another 20, subtract 1. 134. Minus 1, 133. Times 8. 19 times 8. Add 20 to this. That's 153. Minus 1, 152. All right, I think that's enough for us to get started. Let's use the standard algorithm. Let's write out, we're dividing 70,072 divided by 19. Okay, so first I think the first number is 7. How many times can 19 go into 7? 7's too small, so we go out 1. How many times can 19 go into 70? Well, here's why we did this. We can easily check. 70, okay, so 19 times 3 is 57. 19 times 4 is too big, so it's going to be 3. So up to 3 times. 3 times 19, we already know that. 19 times 3 is 57. So let's subtract 57 here. 70 minus 57, 0 minus 7 is, or 10 minus 7 is 3. Carry the 1, make this 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. Regroup, bring down the 0. How many times can 19 go into 130? Well, let's check here. 19 times 7 is 133, so that's too much. 19 times 6 is going to be 114, so 6 times. 6 times 19 is 114. Let's subtract 14. 10 minus 4 is 6. All right, carry the 1 over from here. This becomes 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Regroup, bring down the 7. 167. How many times can 19 go into 167? Well, let's check here. 19 times 8 is 152. And I know that 167 is only 17 away from 152, so not a full 19 away, so it's going to be this right here. 8 times 19 is 152. Let's subtract that. 7 minus 2 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. Okay, bring down the 2, regroup. 152. How many times can 19 go into 152? Well, we know 8 times. 8 times 19 is 152. We get a 0, no remainders. So 3,688 is our final answer. Pretty close to our estimate of 3,500. Good, good, and good. All right, now I want you to try on your own. Round, estimate, and then use the standard algorithm. So we're going to pause. Try this on your own. After you've paused it and you're trying on your own, if you want, you can look at Miss Jian, give me a thumbs up. That's how I know you're listening to the video and you're actually trying on your own. Good job for you. And now you're resuming the video. Let's estimate. First, let's look at this number, 12. We're going to round that to the nearest 10. It's going to round down to 10. We're dividing. So you want a multiple of 10. So 80 is what we rounded it to, 80,000. Then we can cross out any zeros that are in both numbers. And then 8,000 divided by 1 is going to be 8,000. So 8,000 is our estimate. Now, if you wanted to, you don't have to, you can write out the multiples of 12. 12 times 1 is 12, add another 12, times 2 is 24, times 3 is 36, times 4 is 48, times 5 is 60, times 6 is 72, times 7 is 84, times 8 is 96, times 9 is 108. Okay, so 82,008 divided by 12. How many times can 12 go into 8? Well, too small, so we got to go out one. How many times can 12 go into 82? Well, we can check our chart. Times 6 is 72, times 7 is 84. That's too many, so we got to go back down. 6 times 12 is 72. 82 minus 72 is 10. Bring down to 0. How many times can 12 go into 100? Check our chart. Times 9 is 108. That's too much, so we got to do times 8, 96. So 8 times 12 is 96. 100 minus 96 is 4. Bring down to 0. How many times can 12 go into 40? 36. So 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36. Subtract that. 40 minus 36 is 4. Bring down the 8. How many times can 12 go into 48? 4 times 12 is 48. We get 0. 6,834. That's our answer. And our estimate was 8,000. It's a little further off, but still pretty close. All right. Okay, now, if you have time, turn to the next page. So we're going to do a level 3 example. But if you don't have time and you need to put your computer away, that's okay.